Hi, my name is Rick Thomas, and I want to share with you today about the books that I've written so that you'll have a perspective on why I wrote them and if it would be something that you want to read. Currently, we have three books that are in paperback that you can find on Amazon. The first book is this one here. It's called Change Me. It is a 300 word book that I wrote about a year and a half ago. The history behind this book is I had someone from our supporting membership ask me if I would put together a series of articles on the change process, how a person can read through a series of articles and they can experience transformation. Well, I did that a few years ago, and then I thought it would be great if we put our best articles in a book about transformation, and that is what this book is about. If you're interested in changing, or if you're interested in taking your small group through the change process, or to use this in a discipleship or counseling situation, then I recommend that you get Change Me, the Ultimate Life Change Handbook. There's a lot of call to actions at the end of each chapter, and I think that you would find it quite beneficial. The next book is called Get Ready. This book here, this is a hybrid book, and what I mean by that is that this book is for those who are getting ready to get married and for those who are married. If you are married, you will find that this book is the perfect one for you and your spouse as you talk about rebooting or making your marriage better than what it currently is. But it's also a pre-marriage book that is excellent for pre-married counselors, for disciplers, for biblical counselors. I would not recommend this book for just a dating couple who are not at the place to where they want to get married, because the book is, you could say, is PG-13. There's some very clear talk, very direct talk about the intimate relationship between a man and a woman. And that's not something that you really want to be talking about between a boy and a girl if they're not on the precipice or they're not about ready to get married. But Get Ready is some of our best content on the idea of marriage. And so if you are heading toward marriage, I commend this book to any counselor who is walking a couple through pre-marriage, or if the couple wants to take the book and use it themselves to work through their issues. It would also be excellent for any parent to read this book before they share it with their son or their daughter. It would be excellent teaching within the home. And so it's Get Ready, a hybrid book for those who are about to get married and for those who are married. And then the final book is called Suffering Well. It is this book here, How to Steward God's Most Feared Blessing. In Job 3, verse number 25, Job said, "The thing that I have feared has come upon me." This book here was 30 years in the making. The things that the Lord had taught me when He took me through a significant crucible of suffering in my life, I told Him that if I ever get out of this, I'm going to not only take copious notes in the moment, but I want to share these things with other people. And I have in this book called Suffering Well, which is a play on words, suffer and well. You want to suffer very well because we can suffer in some very bad ways. And so this book is partly autobiographical as I walk through the book of Job and the horrific events in his life and the things that God taught him and how suffering shaped him. I make those personal applications to my life. We've had several people who have read this book, and in fact, my friend Pat said this book has changed my life. And so if you want a good book on suffering, how to suffer well, how to walk through, how to steward God's most feared blessing, then I commend Suffering Well to you. If you want a book on marriage, if you're about to get married or you are married, then please get ready. This book will really instruct you and it will guide you through some very important issues regarding your marriage. And then, of course, Change Me. This is our most transformative book from our ministry on the process of change. And so if you're taking someone through change, a small group, if you're using it in your marriage or your family or personally, I would encourage you to get Change Me, the Ultimate Life Change Handbook. And finally, if you have read any of our books, would you go to Amazon and would you write a review about those books? What this does is it helps us to share what we're doing with more people. That it'll come across their feed, they'll find out about the books and possibly purchase them, and hopefully God would use these books in people's lives. So if you could write a review on Amazon about our books, if you've read one, I would be most appreciative. Thank you so much for watching the video.